Give it 1 second.
How do we know if they're like posting comments on YouTube? And
Yeah, so actually I gotta get that up and running. The problem is with YouTube, it's like,
or you have to edit the YouTube one, don't you?
My computer, this is live, yeah. My computer's gonna slow the fuck down. Slow the heck down.
Marco, what about the children's?
I know. Actually, I would love to target the teen market, to be honest, but... Cool, here we are, bro, we're live.
Oh, noes.
Okay, it should be going... Is it working?
Come on, you can do it.
Yeah. It's out.
That picture, though.
I know.
That picture, though.
Oh, what's up? Hey, alright. Scarlet Widower, Archangel, or is Arvin Studios. What's up, guys? Good to see you. Is it coming? This is Scarlet Widower. I know you're down in San Diego, which is awesome. Hello. Archangel Studios, you're in India? Is that right? He's awesome. He's got some cool stuff. Big time YouTuber.
Oh, you're a YouTuber. He's a YouTuber. I'm not a YouTuber.
He makes some dope music videos and stuff. Guys, what's up? We're here with a good friend of mine from high school, actually, Ian Jones. Say hi, Ian.
I didn't do it, I promise. Hello, interweb.
Ian! Already admitting to things you have or haven't done. Anyways, thanks for joining us today, guys, for our Wednesday Sonder City Light Show. We're trying to get the last camera up right now. Let me show you a quick thing. Here we are. Check it out. Oh!
I don't know, we lost whatever this one is.
You got this dope little soccer tree, you know?
What's up? I don't even know if this thing is like...
Thanks, Alright, cool. Hey, well, it's great to have you guys with us. Yeah, how's the weather down in San Diego? I mean, because it got a little hot up here today in LA. And of course it's still the winter and it's hot as hell. Especially up in like the San Fernando Valley. What's up? Hey, guys, thanks for being here. Yeah. So where are you from? Let's see, Archangel Studios. I want to know. I've always wondered. Is it India? What's up, Med Taha Benz? Good to see you. And we got Steven Tester. Do you remember Steven?
Steven Tester.
Steven, what's up, bro?
Still alive? What's going on, homie?
No. All right, cool. And we got.
Oh no, we're live now. All right.
All right, we're live now. We got. Say.
That lag though.
Okay, and we got some lag on there too. All right. Actually, I'm just gonna take it down on the.
Whoa. Yeah,
man.
Let's go that way. Hi.
One more thing. Sorry, I'm just gonna fix it. Hello, Chase. Awesome. All right, cool.
Skynet. That is why that is doing that. Skynet, and we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
And,
hey, guys, thanks for joining in with us. Again, if you want to check it out, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook as well, and the YouTube one should be looking a little bit like the best, whatever, but honestly, that's got some lag. We're still trying to figure it out. But anyways, and Steven's still alive. Okay, so first things first, the rules of this thing, there's like no rules, but we want to make it engaging. So same as you're part of this thing. If you got any questions or you got any thoughts on what we're talking about here, because we have a few things to talk about, to include being in the military and whatnot today, please chime in. And we always try to rep that and make it a part of an engagement here. So whether it's music related, personal, feel free to share it on here. We want to try and chat it out to everybody. And without further ado, I wanted to talk about what we're going to talk about. Ian.
I didn't do it, I promise.
In 30 seconds or less, how would you describe who you are, my brother? What the hell are you doing here?
Well, I'm a transplant from many different places. I was born in Colorado. I grew up in Hawaii, of all places. As some of you out here from high school who still follow Marcus, is a very followable dude.
You got 15 seconds. 15.
I got 15
14,
seconds. All right. Well, I live in
13.
Texas now, and I'm a firefighter. I'm a combat vet. I'm an Army combat vet, and that's basically it, man. I mean, I'm just chilling out here in California, because it's always good to get out of Texas from time to time.
Yeah. What part of Texas are you in again?
I'm in a place called Magnolia. It's just outside of Houston.
Magnolia.
It's fastly, it's improving.
That's good.
Or no, it's not improving. It's expanding quite rapidly, but it's pretty much like the country in Texas.
That's awesome.
Outside of Houston.
And I'm sorry, I'm gonna jump in here once in a while and all that. That's great to hear. Perfect as always. I'm so jealous. Scarlet Widower is a Marine right now, actually, and we worked together back in Okinawa. So I'm sure he's got some stuff. Yeah, it's never fine. An amazing person. He's got a great Instagram channel too. So just a shout out to Scarlet. Archangel Studios. I think a music producer as well, and from India. Check out his YouTube's pretty amazing, a lot of followers. And Steven Chester's with us on Facebook. Steven, this is awesome because he's actually a friend that we both know here. We were all in JRTC back in high school, which is where I met this crazy motherfucker. He was like the dark side. I was like the good boy, and
I was like the angriest. All right, now because I was actually in the military, I don't really like to tell ROTC stories because that's not really the military. But I carried this on to my military career. I was the grumpiest NPO in all of Calaveras history, which is why I never got promoted past petty officer 3rd class.
Hey, well, I know you didn't take some.
But then I joined the real military, you know, so then,
exactly.
You know, which I still didn't get promoted past D4. But
well, you also denied some. Okay, well, we're gonna hop throughout this whole hour that we're here together, guys. We're going to talk a little bit more in depth about what Ian's done and what he does now. He's actually a volunteer firefighter working on getting his full-time thing. But we're going to I want to jump into some things to talk about. And since we have a few people here that are either in the military or have been in the military, I think that's a great thing to start with. A few years ago, I got out of the Marine Corps, active duty. Awesome experience. Now transition into doing music and random online streaming now, full-time. Ian, again, doing the whole firefighter gig.
By the way, this is totally not Starbucks.
It's his first like mocha, which is amazing.
Don't tell anyone in Texas that I was drinking Starbucks.
I want to talk about transitioning, and I know like Scarlett Woodrow. Hey, how you doing? H Burnsy 74. What's up? Talking about being in the military and then moving back into the civilian world. I think it's something that it's something you look forward to when you're in the military, but it's also like a challenge in so many ways, and so many ways that you don't think about, even though you hear all these people telling you, well, it's going to be tough, you got to get a job, blah, blah, blah. And, but I definitely think it's something that no one is fully prepared for. But just to throw out the opening question to you, Ian, how was your experience moving out of being active duty Army? And
well, I wasn't active duty. I was all right. So I was in the National Guard. I went on. I was in the Hawaii National Guard. I went on numerous deployments. All of them were actually voluntary. My first tour was in Afghanistan. I actually served with the Arizona National Guard at the time.
And you started out in Hawaii?
I started out in Hawaii.
Okay,
I was my whole career. I was 29th Infantry or 29th SIB. So my transition from what you call active duty, because my active duty transitions were in between tours. So every time I was deployed, I got a DD-214 and all that fun stuff.
I didn't know that.
As you in the military will understand, you have no power here. Here's my DD-214. It doesn't really work in the Guard because you're still in the Guard, but you're just not on active duty status. Yeah. But I mean, a lot of the stuff, like, dude, when you're in the Guard, it's not like when you're in active duty. When you demob, you have a job and stuff like that, man. I mean, like when you're in the Guard, it's like, hey, thanks for serving your country. Here's a month of terminal leave. Get a job.
Wow.
So I mean, like,
are you paid? You're paid like an active duty rate when you're serving.
Yeah, no, it's everyone. Everyone, when you're activated and you do your gig, like everyone, dude. This whole thing on YouTube makes it look like I'm looking in the whole time. It's like, hey, how you doing, buddy?
Right. We got 2 different cameras, by the way.
Yeah,
so.
But that's how that works, man. I mean, so.
Okay, so you basically transition in and out several different times throughout your several different.
Yeah, but there is also an analog to it where you actually go from the transition to like, all right, I was a soldier, or I was a guardsman, or a Minuteman, or whatever you want to call the Guard, or I mean, again, you have your reservists, and for various different branches and stuff like that. So you do go through that. There's a transition where it's like you're, all right, I'm no longer in the military under any capacity. I'm not a soldier anymore. I'm not an airman anymore, or what have you, whatever you joined. I will say something about coasties. I guess they count now. I don't know how that works really. I've been out a minute.
Well, Orion, he's a little active on Instagram, so if he pops in here, I'm sure he'll have plenty to say about that. But okay, so that's great. So you had, I think, I don't think colorful is a very bad word for nothing like that. You had a versatile experience being both National Guard. You activated several times. You did both Afghanistan. You did Iraq. You're a combat vet as well, and I've seen some. I think the things you took back. You definitely were part of both of the fights. How was your first year when you got out of, doing full time, being in the Army and the National Guard? Well, what did you do? What were the challenges that you faced?
So a lot of the issues. I mean, the big one between, like, I got severe PTSD in Afghanistan. It was strange. I mean, being out. I mean, like, I was one of those guys where, like, I would wake up in the middle of the night looking for my weapon. And I mean, like, I'd wake up screaming. I mean, I got.
This is after Afghanistan.
This is after Afghanistan. I mean, this is before I remobbed to go to Iraq.
Okay.
So, I mean, then I just turned right around and I did another tour because that's what I thought I needed, you know. I mean, and also a lot of it was like I was a combat veteran. The unit I was deploying with to Iraq had very few combat veterans, so I was like, all right, if I could take the experiences I had in Afghanistan and I could turn those around and I can bring more guys home alive if we caught fire or we got in a bad situation in Iraq.
Yeah.
That's kind of like me giving back to like keeping soldiers alive. So that's why I volunteered for my second tour, even though I was suffering severe PTSD. But I suffered from PTSD for years and years and years and years. I mean, I still have my tics now, but I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, hello, oh, yeah. There it goes. It went back to the other thing, so now we don't have to worry about that. Oh, good. Okay, now so that looked terrible on YouTube.
Okay, so I didn't know that. So you actually you were suffering from PTSD, and you still you thought
dude, Afghanistan was
going back and
like Afghanistan was a tough one, man. We lost people. We saw things that no one should see.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was rough. You know, I mean.
I can't relate personally. I've never actually deployed to the sandbox, and you know, part of me definitely has a regret for that. But you know, huge respect, and I've heard plenty of your stories, and it sounds tough. And for you to go back, you know, voluntarily and hop on that thing, that's great, man. Hey, if you're just getting, what's up, Angel Diamond? Good to see you, man. Awesome rapper to look out for. Something to check out there. Again, if you're just joining us, guys, we're here in the studio. Tonight's talk is really with a good friend of mine from high school. We're both veterans of the National Guard and the Army and the Marine Corps, and we're talking kind of about our experiences tonight about that. And we'll tie in with kind of what we're doing now and today, and maybe throw in some pop culture while we're at it too. So if you have anything you want to say, please shout it out there. Again, it's great to see some old friends, newer friends. Yo, bro, yeah, what up? We still got to collab on something. I really love your rapping style. Again, check out Angel too as well. His Instagram is always going live. So cool, man. But that's great. And then, what did you first do when you got out? Then, when you let's say
when I first got out,
completely.
Yeah, all right,
completely,
so,
yeah.
When I first got out, I moved to Austin, Texas, for a while. This was back in 2010.
Okay.
To be honest, if I'm being honest, I did a lot of drugs.
Cut the camera right now.
No, I mean, I was a big proponent of. I had a bad drinking problem. You know, because I mean, it's hard to cope with that stuff. I did a lot. The VA, you know, as much as people like to complain about the VA really did a lot of good things for their mental health program and stuff like that for treatment of PTSD. And there's a lot of offsite programs that I've been to that helped. But I mean, I moved around the first couple of years. I moved around. I mean, I went from Hawaii to Austin, Texas.
How was that?
Back
Austin,
to,
by the way, was that
Austin was amazing.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. I mean, it was one of the things. Living in Austin was one of the things that led me to go to Burning Man. If you ever have it, I mean, I understand that Burning Man is kind of turning into Coachella Part 2.
Right.
But if you get the opportunity to go, you will definitely have a life-changing experience. I know there's a lot of BS with the tickets and stuff involved, but seriously,
dude,
go to Burning Man. If you go to one party ever in America for your entire life, go to Burning Man at least once. Just do it. Just bucket list it. Just
wait. I want to say hi to a couple people. James Tippett. James, awesome to see you on here. He's watching, I think, on YouTube. He is also a veteran. Amazing story on his part as well. He was an Air Force Academy grad. Met him on a trip to China. Now I think he just finished at Yale as one of the top grads, and he works for one of the best consulting firms in the world. Awesome. I hope you can throw some in there. Please, guys, throw some comments down. Ask us some questions, especially if you know us, like you, motherfucker. Want to get your input on this as well. Now, he brings up Burning Man. That's a great tie-in, I think, to pop culture right now. And now, everybody here's probably served in the military or has some experience, even though RTC counts. Burning Man.
RTC doesn't count. RTC is an elective. Go fuck yourself with that. No, you're a fucking Marine. How dare you?
Burning Man. I always wanted to go. Has any of you guys here ever done Burning Man or Coachella? And what is it like? I've actually never done one of those big festivals.
Coachella is of the devil. We do not talk about Coachella.
Unless you're well, you're obviously not a house fan or like electronic dance, which is pretty dope now. But Burning Man, what kind of music is it? Like progressive?
Well, no, it's like, all right, so the
is everything you're doing like on a trip, so you should be like on acid?
Well, no, dude, it's not about drugs and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stuff in Burning Man. The idea behind Burning Man is you get into an environment which is radical inclusion. So, like, any form... Well, no,
radical inclusion, that's cool.
Like, radical inclusion in the sense that almost any form... I mean, outside of it in a destructive way, any kind of creative outlook is massively supported. So you have EDM there. I mean, you have art. You have amazing art. There's amazing art installations there. There's an amazing community there. Like, you're not allowed to spend money there or anything like that. There's a gift-giving system. It's a neighbors... Burning Man, done correctly, is what society should be all the time. You know, I mean, like there's a selflessness to it. I mean, it's amazing because whenever I hear Burning Man or anything like that, it's like, oh, you guys just do a bunch of acid out in the desert. I mean, like,
right, and you burn shit, like you burn
I mean, like, don't get me wrong, we totally do a lot of acid out in the desert. But
see, okay, cut the camera. Yeah.
No, but okay. I mean, like, it's not about that. I mean, it's more about like a radical inclusion and freedom of expression, and just kind of having a microcosm of a city. Because I mean, when Burning Man happens, it's the third largest city in Nevada for like 2 weeks. It's amazing.
So what I'm getting is it's like a hub of all sorts of creative aspects. Whether it is like
alternative
statues
lifestyle.
that you burn,
yeah, just
alternative lifestyle. Okay, alternative lifestyle.
Alternative lifestyles.
Okay, that's cool.
Alternative lifestyles.
That's cool.
Like artistic expression. It's really kind of a beautiful thing.
So which did you identify most with? Was it? It obviously wasn't the EDM house side.
There's better. I mean, like I like the EDM house side. There was a Russian dance troupe out there that did things that literally blew my mind. They had this. Me and the person I was with there, I mean, we went to go and see the show 2 or 3 times. I mean, it was this amazing EDM dance show these Russian dancers were putting on, and I never knew the human body could move that way. I mean, not like a dirty sensory thing. It was beautiful. And
That's
it was
cool.
Cosmic, you know.
That's great. So that totally taught me something tonight. Is that Burning Man goes beyond the drugs. It goes beyond burning statues, which sounds cool.
I mean, the idea behind
but it's also like a creative gathering of just all sorts of people.
I mean, like the
backgrounds
behind, like burning the effigy and stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of a pagan thing to be sure, but it's like you pile, especially like when you burn the temple burn. I mean, like there's the burning man, and then there's the temple burn, and I mean, like the temple burn's kind of a sacred thing too, where like you take all of your troubles and your woes and your worries and things that you're uncertain about, and you put them into the structure, and then that structure is burned, and you. I mean, like it's like a spiritual cleansing thing.
Yeah, that's great. I always thought it was cool, but that gives a little more perspective. Have any of you guys gone, like, I don't know, Scarlet Widow or Steve or anyone else watching this, like, have you been to a festival? I see, like, I Wish down there. Yeah, me too. And what have you thought? Steve, aren't you in Texas? And I can't remember if you're in Houston or not, but that's kind of crazy because we got some Texas folks in here, so I imagine
a little Southern hospitality.
Yeah, I gotta say, because I've done some minor festivals, like Okinawa. When I was there, they have like all the American bases trying to host, all kind of stuff, and it's cool that you can get to the big town and it's all free, but it's nothing like going to Ultra, or Burning Man, where it sounds like a really crazy life experience, and that sounds dope.
I mean, it was like, you talk about like a lot of these guys, and it was like the atypical story, and I don't know if everyone's heard this one or not, like the Vietnam vet that comes back from the war. I kind of stepped actually my hands there. But I mean, like you have this,
breaking the fourth wall.
I know, it's like, this is the Matrix. But you have that atypical story of the Vietnam veteran who comes home and goes to like Woodstock or something like crazy like that. I mean, Burning Man was very much my Woodstock. I mean, it helped me get back in touch with being a civilian, even though I still had transitional issues and stuff like that. And you'll always have that. So I mean, it's not, civilian life is not the military life. It's completely different. I mean, you don't know where people stand in civilian life.
I'm gonna booty call doing this. I'm gonna have to.
Oh well, hi, whoever was booty calling my home skeleton.
Oh man,
the wife's probably not gonna appreciate that too much.
So so I just saw it. It didn't pop up on my phone, but I saw it on my computer. It's a staff sergeant from the Marine Corps Reserve, probably trying to verify some information, which is funny. Unless he's watching, but I don't think he is, because I just.
Devil.
So I thought that's very ironic.
Pull rank.
Pull rank. So it's interesting. So I got as a captain, and I got
You're a captain?
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Look at me now. I got like bleached blonde hair. But
that's right. I look like Fat Lemmy.
So here's my I'm an individual ready reserve. I still have my card so I can get in on base. I can shop at the commissary. I do a muster like once every couple years. In fact, I just got one like a couple months from now, which I won't be able to make because I'm not back in Hawaii. But every now and then you get random calls from these Marines that are located up in like the reserve area, I think like in North California, and they're like, "Hey, how you doing, sir?" Blah blah blah. Like, "Hey, we got this bill that popped up. It's so good." And they like sell it hardcore. Like, "Oh my God, you're gonna be like sitting on top of a pot of gold, and you're gonna have like the best Marines to work with." And it sounds cool and it sounds great, but I'm like, "Oh no, I'm like trying to do music, and I just bleached my hair."
Did you not have a recruiter when you joined that? I know you went through the Naval Academy and you chose the Marine Corps, but I mean, all the us enlisted guys never trust a recruiter.
Right? No, I never did.
Idea.
They were called Blue and Gold officers, and they were called back. So it's funny. Like I was going to the Naval Academy. I came back after my first year for Christmas, and after I first graduated high school, before I went to the academy, I had this recruiter who was like, "Hey, you should really check out the Army." It was like something like staff sergeant in the Army. He's like, "It's gonna be dope." I'm like, "I'm sorry, dude. I'm going to the Naval Academy." I went to the academy. I came back after my first year. He calls me, "Hey, bro, we gotta hang out. I gotta tell you about the Army." I'm like, "Dude, I was just..." And no kidding. Like,
I'm not going back to West Point. I'm not doing it. I already did 4 years of military
it wasn't
service
going
academy.
to. It wasn't even doing that. It was like you want to enlist and stuff. I'm like, oh man, like I'm really.
I go through 4 years of Naval Academy to become a specialist.
Woo! So of course, funny enough, like the staff sergeant that's probably trying to hook me up with some cool billet. Maybe not. Maybe he just wants to say hi. We get a call during this thing. So somebody tells me maybe it's actually he's actually watching this. I have no idea, but that's pretty funny that it happens. Okay, cool. So, I'm just, if it's cool, I have one more thing to say too. Something to talk about is some of the funny things you deal with when you get out of the military. I think the first thing I think is the beard.
The veteran beard.
The veteran beard.
Oh my god.
This is
dude.
real, 100% real.
Yeah, that's a thing.
So there's a couple things.
He still has his actually.
No, well, it's shaved off a lot.
Real close, but it's there. It's there.
It gets shaven off and then it comes back in. So the first thing is obviously like you're restricted so much in like hair regs. The first thing comes up is like fuck shaving and screw all this stuff. Here, boom, and you get the beard, and it's nasty as hell. Cause like you go like 5-10 years.
My beard was fucking glorious. I dare you.
Okay, well, it's glorious in the fact that you have one, but it looks disgusting. It's not like, you have no idea how to tailor it however you want it. You don't know really what you want with the beard. You just know, I want a fucking beard because I haven't been able to have one in like years. And it's cool until you like grows out, it's like a bush, and then everybody's like, okay, dude, it's not cool anymore. And on top of that, you gain weight because...
Oh, well, sometimes it stays. I'm not gonna lie, ladies and gentlemen.
Everybody gains the weight, and it's almost like, what do they call it? Like, there's the freshman 14... Like, there's, like, the veteran, I don't know,
the veteran 200.
200!
Let's be honest, guys. Like, the veteran 100. Like, I don't understand why I'm gaining weight. I'm eating the same thing as I always ate. I was, like, eating pizza.
Yeah, you're not, like,
I'm not doing, like, 5 hours of PT a day or whatever.
You're not doing, like, right, the week before your PFT where you're trying to, like, drop everything that you should have been eating. Like, you're just sweating it off so you can get, like, make height and weight. But, yeah, anyways, I know that those are the first two things I noticed, like, personally, I went through, I'm like, this is cool, I'm wearing all the clothes I want to wear, I'm back at home, I'm eating, like, whatever I want to eat, I got a freaking beard going, and I'm proud to wear it. Next thing you know, it's like, holy cow, my beard's disgusting, I'm gaining, like, 20 pounds. Something that's not as cool, you're like, oh my god, and then you go way back to, like, trying to work out and stuff, and it's a little bit hard to make that stick. So, was that like that for you at all, or like...
Dude, have you seen me, man? I'm still fat. I became a firefighter, and I'm still fat, alright?
Oh, hey, Lauren's here, what's up, Lauren? Or like, yo, what up,
Hi,
Big Island? Lauren is a writer. She lives on the Big Island, Hawaii. So jealous. It's one of the best places on earth. If you get a chance, go to Big Island. Lauren, I don't know if you remember Steven Tester. Steven, Lauren's on like the other one, but welcome. Thank you for being here, all of you beautiful people. Kisses and stuff. And anyways, yeah, how was it for you? Like, obviously you had some facial hair and stuff that popped up.
Oh no, I kept that. All right,
freedoms.
All right, like. There's two things. There's the beard and then there's the tattoos. And a lot of guys get like a shitload of tattoos.
Well, okay,
like,
but
they're like, I'm out now. I'm gonna get my fucking neck tattooed. Fucking job.
And then after it's like, oh, why the hell did I get that?
Why did I do that? Well,
right.
I mean, like I do. Like my tattoos, I don't regret any of them. Watch out for getting your chest tattoo because that hurts quite a bit. I'm not gonna show you because I don't want to get Marco banned.
That's okay. I mean, authenticity, right? We can.
But
if you want it, I won't stop you.
The tattooing is a thing. I mean, like there's so much, and there's a bunch.
Wait. Do you have tattoos? Because don't worry, I won't say anything, whatever. But I guess I never knew if you had them or not. Do you have any cool ones? I'd love to hear about it.
Oh, I have four tattoos. 3 of them are
Scarlet Widower for you. I was asking.
Oh, sorry, Scarlet Widower. What's up, homie?
Yeah. No, because I'm curious. What did you get? Do you have the Marine Corps tattoo? Do you have like the EGA? Yeah, throw it out, bro. Oh, you got 3 of them? Dope. All right.
I win.
Okay, how much do you have?
4. I win.
That's impressive. Okay. And
we were hanging out with Bella earlier. She has all the tattoos.
Yeah, we were just hanging with like this crazy cool chick that's like a friend of his, and she apparently is like the head dominatrix of LA.
No.
She's
gonna cut me for you mentioning.
I'm just joking. Nothing happened. Okay. And just to be honest, I never was a fan of tattoos. I grew up as like the good kid. And I was like, okay, cool. Tattoos are like for weirdos.
I was like the corrupting influence. You have no idea. Oh my god.
And of course, in the Marine Corps, like as an officer, you can't really have tattoos. You can have them from before. You can have them if they're like, of course, you don't show them. But now, like, especially living in LA, everybody's got one. I think it's pretty cool, and I kind of want to get into like I want to have something that's meaningful. And I definitely want to get a tattoo now.
Oh, dude. No moto tat. Good for you, bro.
No moto tats. All right,
good for you, bro.
Good for you. Yeah, because I know a few NCOs before getting out. Like, sir, check this out. Like, got the wings on their shoulder blades, and like the USMC on the top, which is cool. Hey, mad respect if you're doing that. But.
I'm like, dude, I got mad respect for it now because like most of mine are moto tattoos. I mean, like, I don't know if there's an Army equivalent. Because I know the moto thing's kind of a Marine Corps one. Honestly, I don't know what we call it in the Army. We just call them tattoos.
Just call them tats, yeah. Okay, so without going into crazy detail, what are like a couple of them that you got? Any crazy ones?
Well, I got one. I got I got one here. Well, here I can show you the PG one. I got this one after I got back from Afghanistan.
There we go. Just a little
And
bit.
then
you can show the camera over there too. There we got a couple cameras.
oh yeah, come on YouTube, you laggy.
There you go. You see it there? You
There's
guys got a pretty good shot.
And I got this one after I got back from Iraq. It's like
Alright.
freedom is not free because
Oh, that's cool.
I was in Austin. I was very, very drunk when I got that one. And I got one on my cab and I got one on my chest. The one I got on my chest was actually after I got out of the Army. It was kind of like the culmination of my service tattoo. And then I got one, oddly enough, for Burning Man. Who would have thunk it? It's like my only non-service related tattoo. I have a couple of them I want to get because I'm getting up there in years in the fire service. Like when I get my 5th year,
So
I do want to get my Maltese Cross.
What is multi-cross? Is that
It's like this, and no, I don't work for Wake Up. I work for a different fire department, but it's this. This is a Maltese Cross. It's the firefighter thing.
So you don't have any fire tattoos yet?
No, I do. I mean, I gotta figure out rate, man. Because I was like, all right, if I get a year in, you know, I can get my tattoos, and then the other thing is, I mean, I want to go full time. And a lot of places, I mean, it's like the military is now. A lot of places are funny about like having sleeves, and as you can see, I have like massive tattoos here. I mean, like I don't want to get my Maltese Cross under my arm.
That's right. It's back in the day, you can't.
So you know, I mean, like, but I mean, not all departments are that way. My department is pretty loose about tattoos, as long as it's nothing offensive or like, you know, like you can't have like a swastika or anything retarded, you know, or like gang related or like hyper offensive. Obviously, that's not going to be allowed. But I mean, like, if it's innocuous or it's like, you know, if it's nothing bad, I mean, we're pretty cool with it. So
yeah, I mean, I think it's great. It's definitely like a great form of expression, and you know, that's I think well within everybody's right to have that. To a degree, of course, if you're in the military, that's like you've got some. I think there's some important reasons to have some regulations on them to ensure that, you know, you've got nothing like the neo-Nazi thing that might not contribute to team welfare.
Pretty much. It's like enjoy Social Security at 23.
Exactly. Funny enough, too, in Japan, very conservative. One of the biggest things to do there is the hot springs, and you cannot go into Japan's hot springs at all if you have a tattoo showing, which is like even
because it's criminal there. It's like it's a sign of your yakuza.
Exactly, and that's all it is. Which I was like, holy cow, that's well. I mean, it makes sense that Japan's conservative culture, but when you tie it into the yakuza, that's like holy cow. It's like legit. This is real. It still happens. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play with that, man. It's like, don't swim in that.
So okay, here's my next question to you, Ian. Is how did you end up going, you know, from like a full-time in the military thing, firefighter? Were you always interested in doing that, like being part of the fire service?
Actually, it's a weird story for the fire. So I spent many years wandering because I mean, if you look at it, I mean, I pretty much got out of the Guard aside from like drill status in 2010. So it's like, well, how come you did 3 years in the fire service and it's 2018? I wandered a lot, did a lot of crazy stuff. I wound up going to Texas, where I got sober, and a lot of other events happened. But I'd always wanted to be an EMT. I enjoyed the medical field, so I went to EMT school at Lone Star Sci-Fair.
Mad respect.
And I did that, and then a couple of my buddies that were in EMT school actually talked me into going to Fire Academy because I wasn't into it. I was thinking about you know, I don't want to lug all that stuff into a burning building. Why would I want to do that? But I went to.
Why would I want to run into a burning building?
But you know, I mean, then I started doing it. I mean, I fell in love with the job, man. I mean, I can honestly see myself for the next. I mean, like that's my new career path, man. I mean, it was.
So you weren't always interested in it, but because you were.
I mean, I kind of was. It was always kind of the thing. I mean, it was always like I knew I was going to wind up doing something with sirens. I didn't want to be a police officer. Nothing against police officers. I have nothing. I work emergency services in Texas, man. We work with the police there all the time. We have some absolutely stand-up police officers. We have some amazing guys in the Magnolia PD. I actually have a guy who's a captain and is a sheriff. So he works both sides of the house. He's an absolutely amazing guy. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
So, and he's an absolutely stand-up guy. So I'm not saying anything about the police. The main reason I didn't go police service was I spent a lot of my adult life carrying a weapon in war. You know, I mean, like I was a machine gunner. You know, I mean, I was an infantryman. I mean, I was a Cab Scout. And I mean, I'm one of those weird guys where it's like I don't want to carry a weapon for a vocation anymore. And so it was the weapon thing. I didn't want to carry a weapon.
Instead, I'll carry a pair of irons.
Yeah, no, now I carry a Halligan tool and fire hose. So, you know. But
different sort of weapon.
I mean, it's an absolutely rewarding career for a long time. Actually, for the veterans who are listening to this and people who might be, for a long time, I've been actually trying to institute a thing to spread awareness with service when you get out of the service. Especially like a lot of guys for PTSD and stuff like that. I mean, yes, there's a possibility you can re-injure traumatic events through like service in the fire industry, or in the emergency services. I mean, find a service, man. It helped me. I mean, like, it helped me bury a lot of my demons. In the last 3 years since I started being a firefighter, I've never, I mean, mentally, physically, I've been doing better than I have in 10 years.
That's
man.
amazing.
I'm not saying like it'll work for you. I'm just saying it kind of worked for me, man.
Yeah. What percentage of, like, let's say your station is ex-military?
A whole lot. My former captain. No, I wouldn't necessarily say my majority, but there's a good, I would say maybe a good 20 to 30%. One of my, two of my chiefs are combat veterans. One of them are veterans. Sorry, not combat veterans, but veterans. One of them was a combat engineer like me. Another one actually is a former Navy SEAL.
Oh wow.
I mean, we have.
Is he full time or like volunteer or something?
Yeah, they're battalion chiefs.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow.
Two of our battalion chiefs, like 2 out of 4 of our battalion chiefs are ex-military. Wow. There's a lot of members that are there. I've frequently worked with at least 3 or 4 other guys who are veterans. There's a lot of veterans go over to the fire service side, and a lot of veterans go over to law enforcement and things like that. I highly recommend service. Like, I really do. I cannot emphasize this enough. Give it a shot. If you have a volunteer fire department in your area, I mean, there's nothing to go down there, talk to the guys, get voted in, you know, do some training, see if it's for you. If it's not for you, it's not for everyone. It's absolutely not a field for everyone.
Okay, and that's great. I'm glad you brought that up. I've always wondered, like, everybody else assumes, like, okay, running into a burning building, that's gotta be the worst part of it. What are the big, like, you know, things that make it really tough?
Mental and physical exhaustion. The biggest one is it's less physical. I mean, yeah, you have physical issues. Most of what we deal with in the fire service is about technique and it's about mental conditioning, because I mean, there's always mental hurdles that you will have to go over. So one of the big ones is claustrophobia, because you're going to be in a mass breathing air and you're not going to be able to see. Or it's like fear of heights, you know, I mean, where it's like where you have to climb up a ladder and, you know, carry someone up or down, or you're doing an event or something like that. Yeah. Or like all of a sudden, like, you know, you're on the side of a ladder truck and you got to climb up 3 or 4 stories of building and you're hanging on this ladder, you know, I mean, like, are you going to freak out when you have to be calm? Yeah. So, or like if you're extricating a victim and stuff like that, it's mostly mental issues. I mean, because the physical techniques will come with time, and you learn techniques, like what works for you, and things like that. Yeah. Well, that's, I mean, it sounds like not like a whole lot removed from the military, and I mean, it's very similar to being it's very similar to being deployed. Yeah. I mean, you have the camaraderie. I mean, even guys who never served. I mean, guys who are serving in the fire service. You know, I mean, it's very, between the fire service and the military, it's very similar. Which is one of the things that actually attracted me to the fire service, because it's the same sense of camaraderie in combat arms. Yeah. It's the brotherhood. It's the you know, I wouldn't trust you with my wallet, but I trust you with my life. It's it's a lot of it's difficult to do. Training to become a firefighter is very, very, very difficult. Yeah. Not necessarily on the mental side. I mean, like, there is. I mean, like, academically, it's not overtly difficult. You do have to be able to do some academics, but I mean, physically physically, it's very difficult. I mean, you're carrying 100+ pounds of gear. Yeah. I mean, before or after tools, depending on what you're carrying, like, into a building that's on fire, so it's hot. You're carrying a lot of gear, and it's difficult. Okay, so physically it's very difficult, but it sounds like also mentally, just again, having that register in your brain. And then there's a lot of things, and what they don't tell you about becoming a firefighter is there are lulls. Like, there's periods where it's going to be very boring. So, like, on any given day, you never quite know what you're going to get. So, like, I might go on a shift, and the only time we turn wheel on the engine is to, you know, go and get dinner. Whereas I might have like a nightmare shift where it's like outside fire, outside structure fire, vehicle accident with entrapment. What is the longest you've gone on a shift, like just nonstop working? Harvey. Oh, Hurricane Harvey. Hurricane Harvey. Wow. How long was that? That was 36 hours. Wow, 36 hours. I mean, yeah, then you're talking like a deployment now. Yeah, you're essentially. I mean, and then I've worked. I mean, like, where it's like 48-hour shifts where like almost every 4 hours we get a call. I mean, the longest usually I'll do is like I'll do up to a 60-hour shift. Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're not awake that whole time. Like, if you're training and all your gear is good and your rig's washed and all the chores and everything are done, you know, you get a chance to sleep. But, you know, if not, you might not. I mean, like, you might not have time to have a meal. That's why it's also very similar to being deployed. You never really know what's going to happen when you're deployed. Yeah.
you have like your basic routines, but like, it sounds like for the firehouse, so you make sure you're ready, and then you guys.
I mean, it's a lot of routine and it's a lot of hurry up and wait.
Yeah, and then, but when it hits, then you're like boom, and you don't know what it could be. It could be crazy or big.
Robert.
Oh my God, what's up, my God. So this guy, he recently got on the Marine Corps Master Sergeant, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Awesome person to serve with as well, and I think he's back home right now. Are you on your ranch right now? What's up? So he also
Ranch, is this the cat that's down in Texas?
No. Oh, so Steven is this one. Oh man, was it Idaho? And forgive me, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to remember what state it was. God. But okay, I think it was Iowa or Idaho, and I could be wrong.
Those are two very different states.
Yeah, I know.
Those are two vastly different
What
states.
state is it? I'm so sorry. I just know you're maybe just okay. It looks like you said what's up. Maybe you might roll. Anyways, cool. That's pretty neat. We've had like a bunch of veterans actually kind of watching this thing, and of course Steve, the veteran of ROTC, man, you're still watching on this thing, bro. What part of Texas are you in, man? It's been a bit.
Dude, if you're down towards Houston, man, we gotta get a beer at some point.
Yeah.
Oklahoma?
Like
okay isn't like okay, or
what's
like
up,
okay
Keegan?
isn't Oklahoma?
What's up, bro? A good buddy of mine from Long Beach. Down in Long Beach, man.
What's up, Holmes?
Yeah. Yeah, Robert Motes, man. Great to see you. Night backyard days and OMC too. We've got a few people here. Very cool to see you. So, anyways, yeah, it sounds very mentally and physically stressful. I mean, again, not like the military scene. What would you say the top two things you love? Because it sounds like you would do like being part of the fire, you know, being a firefighter. What are the top two things I think about having that sort of job? Lifestyle.
Like the best things, or like
Yeah.
the things like one of the best things is like I will tell you now, man. I've done a lot of drugs in my day. Don't tell the guys I work with.
So you love not being able to do that?
No, it's not that. I mean, like
I love not being able to smoke out or get
No, dude, that's not that. I mean, like, dude, I would. It's like one of those things where, like, I'm in California now. You know, weed's legal. I can smoke up in 30 seconds if I wanted to. And if anybody just catches back in one Texas, I will happily take a drug test immediately when I return to Texas.
Right.
I'm not going to because there's no
100%.
drug on the planet Earth. Because, like, why I do this? Like, I've done a lot of stuff in the past, and I will tell you this now: no drug is as good a feeling as you will get when you get your first save, man. When I got my, when I made my first save, it was a cardiac arrest. We got the patient back, you know, I mean, we got the patient alive, and I mean, that was just an exhilarating feeling that I cannot equate to anything, man. I was high off that for a week.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
that's awesome.
That's one of the best parts too. I mean,
so
like,
can you, real quick, give us a nutshell, what did you do? You said...
I mean, a lot of that I can't get into because
it's fine,
HEPA is a thing.
But you saved someone's life.
I helped a paramedic during a cardiac arrest situation where we actually managed to save the patient.
Right.
I mean, there's been other instances too where we've done things that were life-saving events. That was my first save, and like, dude, that adrenaline rush and that high is something that I cannot equate. There's no drug. There's no like jumping out of an airplane or anything that's the equivalent of actually saving a life.
Okay, so you feel like again, being able to go out and do that and be a part of directly or indirectly saving people and making sure the community is safer. And
I mean, just giving back to the community and having a purpose. You know, it's amazing. I mean, it's cliche. I know it sounds cliche, but I mean, it's the God's honest truth, man. I mean, you can. I mean, there's people and a lot of the veterans that are here. You know, I'm like a lot of the Marines. You know, I've always heard the saying about Marines and stuff like that, and it equates the same thing as the Army. It's like there's the old saying is, you know, there are people who will go through their entire lives not knowing whether or not they made a difference.
Yeah.
Like Marines don't have that problem.
Oh, okay, right, the cliche thing, but
I mean, it sounds good, but it's true.
It's true.
I mean, it's like this is the same thing, like, dude, when you're working service, like if you're working in law enforcement too, they make saves.
Right. I mean, I'm gonna cut you over there quick because I had to say, like, just 2 days ago, I was walking down Hollywood Boulevard, and again, moving to LA and Hollywood and being part of the music industry and all that stuff, it is one of the most egotistical places on earth, and it's. To go from being in the military where it's like not about you, it's all about either the guys you work with, or the purpose, the mission, and to go to a place where it's like, hey yo, check out my demo, yo, check out like I'm a badass producer, or like look at me like how hot I am, and I'm gonna be in your star in your movie. It's like all about you and all it's discussing that sort of sense. I was walking down Hollywood Boulevard the other day, and this guy had a seizure. He's like one of those guys. He had like a stand out there, he's like selling shit. He broke down, and all these people swarmed to like try to help him out, but no one really knew exactly like they didn't want to touch him because he might have like heard something, and we were trying to get shade on him and stuff. Someone called the emergency response, and boom, there was a small fire truck came over, or I don't know if it's a truck. I don't want to like get the lingo wrong.
It's usually they'd have like a tank and stuff on the back.
A small tank.
That's probably a booster truck.
Booster
usually
truck,
have something like that for like a medical response vehicle where you'll send usually they're the paramedics or EMT qualified.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times like ambulances.
That sounds right. He kind of knew what he was doing.
Yeah, because like the thing with an ambulance is like an ambulance is a lot of ambulance services they won't let you speed. Mainly because an ambulance is a very large death trap. If you get into an accident in an ambulance, you're gonna have a bad time. Okay. So that's why they're not allowed to drive fast and stuff like that. So a lot of times,
I've seen some do it.
I mean, if you gotta get somewhere, you gotta get somewhere. But with the fire department, we're qualified and we have the ability. Like we can get on scene fast, especially if like EMS is tied up on calls and stuff like that. Like you can set fire out there really quick.
So and that's one of those things where you legally you can drive.
Yeah, and that's one of the things you wouldn't think about fire, because everyone's like, oh, you're a fireman, that's what you work as fire calls. It's like, no, that's not true at all. 80% of the calls that I run are medical. Everything from boo-boos to trauma to, I mean, I work cardiac arrest.
I mean, it's cool not because you're dealing with that, but like when you go back to like saving people and contributing to that, it sounds like a very rewarding, purposeful thing. Anyways, going back to the thing, like, there was the firefighter came out, and he was the first guy to like, hey, like, boom, let's get some shade on him right now. What happened? And he filtered all the information. He got on his radio, and within less than a minute, the ambulance was on scene, and the 2 EMTs got out. And I was just feel like stepping back into that world, or like I wasn't a part of this. I was watching from a few feet away, watching these guys. They were heroes. They came, they took care of the guy, got him on a stretcher. I was like, man. Screw all like like charting your hit on your music, or screw like having making whatever, like getting your art out there and stuff. That's great, but at the end of the day, these people were like saving someone's life, and it wasn't about them, but it really like they were making that that rescue happen. And I just like I felt really something strong come out inside of me and feel like, damn, this is what it's all about. And I really kind of miss that purpose sort of thing. And so hats off to what you're doing, Ian. Hats off to everybody out there that's been part of like either working for the government, that sort of capacity, and then especially to our emergency responders like and fire. And I also know that you guys follow that, but it's like damn, that is like I was like tearing up. Like I had to thank each of them. Like thank you. And I walk right back and past Spider-Man, and everybody like selling, yo dude, check out my fucking CD, whatever. Like dude. Like I was on a high, just like tertiary, like secondary effects. So
yeah, well, I mean that's the thing too, man. I mean like a lot of guys, and I always felt uncomfortable with it too, because I mean like you'll hear the combat veteran thing. I mean this doesn't always happen. It sounds like you're feeding your own ego when you say something like this, but it's a thing that happens, and veterans can attest to this. Fire service can attest to that stuff. The word hero gets bandied about a lot. Like, oh man, you're a hero. Yeah. I've never considered myself that. I mean, ever under any capacity. It's like it's like I'm no hero.
Humble brag.
Well, no, it's. Dude, I mean, it's like, dude, I'm no hero. I mean, like, dude, I work with a couple of them, and as far as my military career, the only heroes I ever knew didn't make it home.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, dude, 100%
agree.
I'm no hero.
100% agree. Sorry, I'm saying what's up to some people out here. What's up?
I think they can hear you, homie.
I want to throw something out there so that people can see it.
Oh, that's a special thing. What's up?
And of course, you see that, like. I've had many friends that have worn the wristbands of their names, the fallen comrades and stuff, and
the black wristbands. I got a couple myself. So
true, man. There's definitely nothing like that's the ones that never came back. That's definitely like the real hero. But at the end of the day, like I can't ever dispute how much the firefighter department contributes to making people be able to freaking come back from like a normal everyday, whether it's a fire or just not being able to to breathe or have a heartbeat. Like that's pretty awesome that on a daily basis you're making a contribution to improving the state of things there. So again, hats off to you, man.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
Yeah, totally. And again, that's just I think on a small level too. But looking at what happened in California this past year, the worst fires they've had in recent history, maybe even all of them.
Dude, that was gnarly. By the way, I have to say something about that too. I mean, if there's any LA or California firefighters, those guys out there fighting those big wildlands fires, man, I think the biggest wildland fire I ever fought was maybe 300 acres. I mean, the stuff that you guys do, no, that is nothing. That is absolutely nothing compared to some of these guys. I mean, like, dude, if you want to bandy the word hero about, these guys are absolute heroes. They put forth a Herculean effort against almost insurmountable odds, and they went out there and they fought the shit out of that thing, dude. I have absolutely, I mean, like, from one professional, like from one firefighter to another.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I fight fire out in Texas, dude. Like, you cats out there, like, And I mean, and not even that. I mean, not even in California. Just that. I mean, like the guys who were up in Utah, the guys in Colorado, the guys up in Montana, all these big wildlands fires we have. Dude, my hat's off to you, every one of you guys in the Forestry Service. And I know that your budget recently got cut, and it's absolutely ridiculous that it was a thing that happened. I'm not going to get political, but I mean, you guys keep fighting the fight, man. I have nothing but respect for these guys. These guys work their asses off. These guys, I mean, like these. You get these big wildlands fire, man. You look at that's like a job. You're looking at them like you don't know if everyone's gonna come home.
Yeah.
I'm like that's one of those things. Like that's a nightmare scenario.
Can I ask you what is it like? If you could paint the picture a little bit for everybody that's watching this, what is it like to be part of like fighting a wildfire?
Like wildland fire is spooky, man. There's a lot of cats. I like wildlands fire. That's one of my. I mean, like we're a jack of all trades department, dude. We'll take anything. We'll take everything from big industrial. We have a couple of apartment complexes.
But so what does it feel like? Like you're.
It's hot. It sounds stupid. It's hot. Dude, your eyes are stinging. I mean, the scariest thing I ever saw was during the ranch. One of the scariest things I ever saw was during the ranch crest fire. We had set up on the line where the property for the cul-de-sac that we were defending met the forest line, and if we hadn't stopped the fire where we did, it would have actually jumped the forest line. It would have gone into the property. So these guys have like $500,000. This is a very expensive neighborhood. So we got on scene, and within a very short amount of time, and I might sound technical. If I sound technical for those of you who's in the live audience, if you have questions, feel free to ask. I mean, like, man, this is your chance, man. If you guys want to hang out, ask a firefighter.
I've always heard though, like the wind can change like that.
But, I mean, like, dude, you're looking at that, especially in those dry conditions, man. I mean, like the wind can change. I mean, like, dude, you can die because the wind changed. I mean, you're looking at like 30+ foot walls of fire, you know, running at you at 35 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour. You're not outrunning that. Yeah. I mean, that was the scariest thing that I ever saw during my career was a 30-foot wall of fire coming at me, and we had to stop it like right now. Fortunately, we did. No one got hurt. We knocked the fire down. You know, we saved the house, and you know.
30 feet?
Yeah,
really?
35-foot wall of fire coming at you. I mean, it was coming directly at us. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, we had a blitz nozzle set up. We had a master retrieve set up, and we just hit the shit out of that thing, and we stopped it. You know, right on that property line. But I mean, it's a scary thing when you look out there. It's like, for those of you who are in the Middle East or have been in Arizona and stuff like that, I don't know if you get shamals out there or not, or you've seen The Mummy Returns with that big, like, wall of sand or that big, it looks like that, just this big wall of fire coming at you, man, and that's...
How would you, this might be a personal question, how would you compare it to, like, again, being, I've seen pictures of you with RPGs and stuff flying at you. Compared to that, like, is it fairly comparable to just being in combat? I'm not sure if you're going to make it out. Like, I'd imagine it's...
Yeah.
Right at that level, like.
I mean, it is, but I mean, when it happens, you don't think about it. I mean, when it happens, it's survival. I mean, like so you fall. I mean, that's what makes you a firefighter. That's why you go through such intensive training and stuff like that. So that way, when stuff like that happens, when like you're in that situation, you're in a time-sensitive situation, you have to get a bunch of technical gear set up, quick, fast, precise, in a hurry, in a specific set of events that need to happen in order to survive. That's why we go through that training. Right. Because in that scenario, and I was running a rookie career. It was me. And I mean, I myself, I mean, like, in a lot of ways, you know, I mean, like, I'm treated well. I'm in 3 years, man. I'm still new. Like, I'm kind of a rookie.
3-year rookie. Damn,
so,
dude, damn.
You know, I mean, especially compared to some of the guys that work for the guy like 10, 15, 20 years in, man, I'm kind of a rookie still.
Yeah. Again, damn.
But, like, that's where the training comes in, man, because you have to go through all this stuff so fast and so precise. But we managed to do it. I mean, we knocked it up, and we had very little time to spare. We got that fire knocked out, man, and then like a big shout out to Chief Kira for that. He was out there. I mean, he hit that thing hard from the yard. I mean, he's one of those chiefs that'll go in there to the throat of it and fight it out, man. And I mean, that's a noble thing for chiefs. Chief Kira was there. The guys who were at Station 3 at the time, the guys who were Station 1s at the time. I mean, we went in there and we kicked that thing right in the nuts, to be honest with you, man. And I mean, we really saved that cul-de-sac. We saved that division, man. It was cool. That's another good thing too. I mean, like the property, we saved a lot of people's houses that day, and it was really fulfilling. Scary as shit when we had to do it, but you know, you just keep going.
Yeah. Again, looking at what happened here, like in Ventura County over the Christmas side, like.
And what those guys were going through again, man. If I can, I know I'm interrupting. I know I'm interrupting.
No. You're the guest.
But I really do. I mean, like, dude, my heart goes out. I mean, like, if any California firefighters or wildlands firefighters, the mudslides, which are like the natural disasters in response to that. I was a Harvey first responder in Houston. That was probably one of the hardest 4 days I've ever had to work in my life. It was rough. Harvey was hard. But I mean, like, dude, the guys out there, the wildland fire guys, even in Texas, stuff like that, like, dude, my heart goes out. The smoke jumpers, the hot shots. I mean, like, I'm a structured firefighter, man, and I got nothing but respect for you guys.
And I'm sorry, quick, interrupting you too. Keegan Hill, who's still on this thing. What's up, Keegan? He comes from a family of also first responders. His mom is a police dispatcher, I think down in Orange County, and his sister is hopefully going down that career path too. So shout out to you guys and your family, and also for you for also following the music path too, bro. But yeah, shout out anybody here too that has family or been in the military, or first response, law enforcement, and fire. My hat's off to all of you guys. And again, this is being in LA is such a different world from a lot of times from reality. We live in La La Land where everybody's like, it's all about your Instagram fucking count. How's your hair doing? Like my fucking bleached hair. What's your next thing?
That shit's fucking fabulous too, man.
What's the next thing that you're gonna drop? But when you get out of that bubble, you realize there's so much more to the world, and people helping people at the end of the day is the most beautiful thing ever. And that, to me, being in the Marine Corps, I think a lot of people are like, oh my god, he's going to the Marine Corps, was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life, and it was all to do with the people I worked with, because every day it really wasn't about you, it wasn't about how much money you were making or your freaking rank. It was really like, okay, we have a problem in front of us, we also have like a ton of crap we have to deal with that's like regulations, whatever based. How can we get through this problem? How can we take care of guys that to make sure like we have some quality of life, and then we can accomplish the mission at the same time.
Bullets and band-aids, man. I mean, like you look at it too.
Bullets and band-aids, man. And if you make that happen, it's a freaking awesome thing.
Well, I mean, you look at it too, man. 'Cause there's a lot of like grunt. I mean, like there's that whole thing like the Poe grunt rivalry, which to me is asinine. It's like one of those things where it's like, dude.
Oh, you had to drag that into this. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, no, dude, the whole argument's asinine to me. I'm like, there'll be some infantryman out there somewhere who's like, fuck you, Pogue, and I'm like, whatever, dude. Yeah. I mean, like, all right, so let me get this straight.
No problem, by the way. It's
I mean, like, you have to have those guys in the rear, man. I mean, like, what? Anywhere between 1% and 6% of the armed forces are combat arms.
Yeah,
so they're
that's
ridiculously
right.
low like that because that's how much logistics is needed to get these guys to
step maintenance. When they're there. Yes. No, I love the maintenance team. It's eye-opening.
So, but I mean, like, don't get me wrong, the infantry works hard, stuff like that. I was out there. I mean, I was billeted. My title was a combat engineer. I mean, there've been a bunch of infantry guys like, Pogue. I'm like, whatever. But I mean, like, I was billeted as an infantry machine gunner, so I mean, like, I know the life. I mean, I wasn't. There'd be a lot of guys like fucking guard baby or whatever. I'm like, that's cool. But like,
I'm gonna stop you there, man. I'm sorry. Just because we're gonna end here fairly soon. I want to say thank you so much for being part of this thing and opening up like the door to.
Tourism, man.
I'm sorry?
Oh, no.
I would say opening up the door to that. Like, if you can give any last kind of final comments on your path, going from veteran to firefighting, or just maybe your thoughts on both those services in general, what would you like to say?
Look, man, for the veterans out there, buddy checks. Check on your guys, man. I've lost guys since I've been home, so watch out for your brothers, man. For your, I don't know if Parker can add it or not. Find it. Lines of suicide prevention, stuff like that. We lose 22 a day is fucking 22 too many.
Is that what it is right now?
Yeah, it's 22 a day, or it could be. I'm not up to date on the data.
And he's talking about veterans committing
suicides daily. So I mean, it's not. But guys out there, man, don't be too proud. Get help, man. I had to get help. I mean, and like not everything in my life has worked out. I'm stable. I got a job that I can work the next 20 years. But it's like, dude, guys. There's no shame in getting help, man. If you gotta talk to the VA, talk to the VA. You're gonna hear all these horror stories about how the VA fucking sucks. Like they made me wait for my shit. Well, man, if you play the game and you kind of sit through it, it's gonna be difficult. A lot of it's just fucking learning patience again.
Yeah.
The VA will fucking help you if you just have to give it time. Like the VA paid for my fucking education. All right, they paid to get my fucking teeth fixed. They gave me mental health treatment for years and years and years. In fact, I'm actually thinking about going back and seeing them again to get like a touch-up to make sure, like I'm all there mentally. Go to the VA and get help. If you don't feel comfortable with that, there's a bunch of programs out there. I'm loath to say it, dude, there's the PTSD Foundation of America is an amazing one. If you're of the religious sort, go and talk to a priest. Go fucking get help. Talk to a professional.
That's great.
Like, don't be that asshole who winds up just trying to tough this out until you put a shotgun barrel in your mouth. Or, like, don't be that guy who's like, I'm fine, and you go beat the shit out of your wife or something like that, and then you wind up in prison. Like, dude, go and get help. Fix your shit. Don't be proud.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it works. I mean, like, dude, if you work the program, I mean, I'm sober I'm sober from all narcotics for over 3 years.
That's awesome.
You know, I mean, like, I still have the occasional beer, but I mean, I'm largely from alcohol. I've been largely sober for the last 4 years.
Awesome.
You know, so I mean,
for
like,
him, I remember, I never would have guessed that.
I was Drunky the Clown. Oh my God.
He got me into Jim Beam. I'm like, oh my God, Jim Beam is the worst thing ever. I remember my first time in high school. Like, I mean,
yeah. So I was like Drunky the Clown, dude. I mean, like, no joke, man. Get help if you need AA, you need NA, you need a support group. Find a help, find a battle buddy, find a brother, man. I mean, talk to a vet. I mean, like, dude, if you don't want to talk to a professional, the best help I ever had was talking to vets.
That's great.
So find a friend, find a family, find a buddy, man. Fucking talk to someone. I mean, 22's too many.
And if I could echo what Ian was saying too, like, even getting out as an officer, I had like a great education. You know, I was fortunate to have my school paid for. I found it very challenging as well. And of course, I'm trying to I'm doing the artist thing here, and that's like a little different path. But you go from being like at the top of your game in your own industry. You know, like I knew the insides and outsides of what I was doing in the Marine Corps, and then poof, suddenly I'm out in the new world. I'm pursuing.
Yeah, dude, that shit sucks, man.
Yeah, no matter what industry you're going into, even if you're like, even if I was doing management in a big company, I'm still 5 years behind my peers that have been building relationships and going to school or just doing it for the last 5 years. Like, you're still behind, and I think as many opportunities as there are for veterans. Like, a lot of companies are looking for veterans because of their skill set. At the end of the day, you're still playing catch up.
By the way, civilians,
there's challenges.
all right, civilians, please, especially amongst the combat arms veterans, all right, please don't look at us like we're gonna fucking stab you. We're people, all right, we're people, because I'm tired of getting that look. That, I mean, like, you do. I mean, like, I've been to job interviews where they're like, all right, well, what did you do before this? And I was like, well, I was in the Army before this. And they're like, well, what did you do in the Army? It's like, I was infantry. I've gotten the scoot back. Like, they were like, they scoot back like I'm like friggin' a serial killer or something.
In Texas?
Dude. No, not in Texas, in other places.
But
I mean, seriously, dude, veterans are
California.
like, and people who are in a hiring position, stuff like that, veterans are people. Veterans are not super people either, so don't dump 3 times the workload for the same amount of money on a veteran, because that's not cool, because that's happened to me. But it's like, dude, we're all people. Like, just treat veterans like they're people. I mean, like, the added respect for the service of the country is appreciated, and it should be given. But, I mean, that doesn't make us, like...
Except for stolen valor, folks. Watch out for stolen valor.
Yeah, fuck stolen valor in the face. Like, in the face.
Stolen valor, that's people faking it, but...
But, dude, I mean, seriously. I mean, like, if you're in the civilian world and stuff like that, I mean, like, treat veterans like people. Like, that's it. I mean, like, I thank you for your service is really all that's necessary. If you want to go farther for, like, again, like a Camp Hope or a PTSD Foundation, or you want to get involved with the VA, or you want to get involved with counseling, mentoring, stuff like that. But outside of that, dude, we're just fucking people.
Yeah. I mean, and echoing that too, like, getting help is, in the military was a problem. I saw a lot of issues with certain Marines had a lot of issues. I'm sure when they got out, after they lost all that support, they had even more issues. And then going back to that, like, 22 veterans a day, that's crazy. And that's so sad that's reality. So echoing what you said, man, definitely get help. Talk to people, and I know that especially I've had friends too that I think have some thoughts and issues out here in California. Just talking with other veterans makes a huge difference. So yeah, that's an awesome advice, man. Well, hey guys, thank you so much. It's been a huge pleasure having you on here, Ian, and I'm so glad that in a short time you've been visiting Los Angeles in this crazy city, we were able to do this. And so, man, yeah.
Oh yeah, if there's one last thing that I could say it's that the Wu-Tang Clan is nothing with which to fuck.
Wait, what?
Wu-Tang?
Are you like a super fan or something? Or where did...
I have no idea, dude. That's like that saying. That
wow.
saying's
awesome. But sage advice from a combat veteran and firefighter.
Wu-Tang Clan is
don't fuck with the Wu-Tang Clan.
And diversify your bombs.
This is funny. So I never, just FYI, if you're doing any streaming, I've got 1 minute and 30 seconds left to stream on Instagram. Interesting. So I guess you have a time limit, which is probably a good thing, because yeah, we're ready to end this thing. Lauren, great to see you. Thank you again for catching up and again supporting the project as always. Writer on the Big Island. She's actually got a published book out there. She's working on her second, if I'm not mistaken, and she's making her cat Instagram famous because she streams that shit like it's hot. So looking forward to seeing more of that stuff. Thanks for joining us. Shout out to again Archangel Studios from India. Scarlet Widower, man, it was so great to see you out there. Good luck in San Diego enjoying that perfect weather, and getting more tats if you do plan to. And thanks again for serving as you always have. Robert Motes, also from OMC, great to see you on here, man. I hope you're living the life as a retired Marine Corps Master Sergeant. Keegan Hill, good buddy, and Stephen Chester. Guys, until next time, we're going to keep this kind of variety show. We're going to throw some music next week. my last thing to throw out there before we say goodbye, again, dropping the next single, like it's hot, this weekend. It's Castaway. Please be on the lookout for that. It's gonna be cool. Oh, dope! All right, Lauren's gonna be live with her cat. What's your cat's name, by the way? I'm very curious. So we can shout that out here. Thank you so much. I will be doing some video games maybe in the next few days too, because I always want to do that.
For Rizzle.
Right? All right, awesome. Until next time, aloha. Catch Egypt the cat, the star cat, on Lauren's Instagram at LaurenAmaral09, and we'll see you guys next time. Much love. Aloha, Ian.
Wu-Tang!
Wu-Tang Clan. All right, dope, guys. You take care. Have an awesome day. And we're going to stop recording.